In India, there are 270 species, of which only 70 are poisonous. Some Indian species are the cobra, the krait, the flower snake, the rat snake, the python, and the Russell's viper. Snakes have good vision. All snakes are colorblind. Snakes have different habitats. Some snakes live in holes, others in warm seas, semi-deserts, swamps, and trees. The biggest snake in the world is the anaconda, found in the jungles of South America. It can grow to the size of a full-grown man. The smallest snake can be just 10 centimeters long. Have you ever teased an animal? What did your elders have to say to you? How did the animal react? Did you think about how the animal felt? In this story, the narrator, Raja, is an innocent young boy. He is adventurous and likes to meddle with creatures like snakes and bees. His grandparents are concerned about his well-being and safety. Once, when a bee stings him, they think he has been bitten by a snake. His grandfather takes him to a man whom he believes can cure snake bites. One day, Raja sees a snake in his compound. He carries it home in a coconut shell. His grandmother is shocked to know that there is a snake inside the shell. His grandfather throws the shell away and tells Raja that creatures like snakes are dangerous. His grandparents worry about his safety. His grandfather tells him never to go near a snake again. Now students, do you like playing with animals? Did you or anyone you know ever get scratched by a cat or bitten by a dog while playing? How did your parents react to this? Raja is curious about creatures like snakes and bees. In the evening, when he tries to catch a bee, he gets stung. He runs for help to his grandmother and shows her the sting. She immediately thinks that it is a snake bite. His grandfather looks at the bite and thinks exactly the same thing. He picks him up and runs to the house of a man who he believes can help them. Raja does not get a chance to tell anyone that he has been bitten by a bee and not a snake. Sometimes people misunderstand and react to the situation without listening or asking questions. Has this ever happened to you? When you fall ill or get hurt, you usually go to a doctor if you live in a city or a town. But in most villages, doctors are not easily available. So villagers usually go to the village medicine man for help. This is what happens with Raja too. Raja's grandparents think that the bee sting on his finger is a snake bite. His grandfather picks him up and runs across the fields to the house of a medicine man. The medicine man convinces them that Raja's life is in danger because of the poisonous snake bite. Raja's finger stops hurting before the medicine man gives him any treatment. But Raja does not tell anyone this. The medicine man makes Raja's grandparents believe that Raja is safe because of his treatment and mantras. Raja's grandfather thanks the medicine man by giving him gifts. But Raja knows that the old man is a liar and has fooled everybody. Making request. You should know how one should make a request. When you ask someone to do something for you or ask for permission to do something, it is important to sound polite. Here are some ways in which you can make requests. You should follow or practice the dialogues with a friend. You can say, "Could you open this bottle for me, please?" And after your friend has done so, you can say, "Thank you." Now one of your friends say and ask you, "Do you have a spare pencil?" You say, "Yes, I do." Now the friend asks you, "May I borrow it? I have forgotten to bring mine." And you answer to this request by saying, "Of course, here you are." And the reply you would get from your friend is, "Thank you." Requesting someone to do something for you. Like you can say, "Could you shut the door for me, please?" "Would you mind passing the paper, please?" "Can you suggest a movie I could watch over the weekend?" Now, as for asking someone for permission to do something, you can say, "Can I use your computer, please?" "Could you lend me some money, please?" "Do you mind if I turn on the fan?" We can classify verbs as regular verbs and irregular verbs. Let's talk about regular verbs first. Grandmother was shocked to see the snake in the coconut shell. She called out to grandfather. They reached a small house. Then he shouted for the man who lived there. Now the verbs here are in the simple past tense. They refer to actions that happened in the past. To form simple past tense verbs from simple present tense verbs, we just add D or ed to the verb. Like shock plus ed becomes shocked. Call plus ed becomes called. Reach plus ed becomes reached. Shout plus ed shouted. Live plus d lived. Dive plus d dived. Like plus d liked. These verbs are regular verbs because they have d or ed endings as a regular feature in the past tense. Now when we come to the irregular verbs, you can hear some sentences. I took the shell and ran to the grandmother. He snatched the shell and threw it away. Look, grandma, I caught a snake. Now the irregular verbs over here do not end in d or ed. All verbs do not take the d or ed endings to form the past tense. In some verbs, there is a change in spellings in the past tense form. In the simple present tense, we have take, throw, catch. Now when we change them to the simple past tense, take becomes took, throw becomes threw, catch becomes caught. Now some more examples of irregular verbs. Run, ran, hear, heard, bring, brought, buy, bought, deal, dealt, bind, bound. Some verbs remain the same in the past tense as they are in the present tense. For example, we can have, we put some extra sugar in our tea. The second sentence is, I'm sorry, I put salt instead of sugar yesterday. Adverbs. Now you listen to the sentences. She reads the newspaper. She reads the newspaper silently. In the first sentence, reads is an action word. It is the verb. In the second sentence, silently tells us how she reads it. That is, it tells us something more about the verb. And this is called an adverb. Verbs are action words. Adverbs are words that tell us something more about verbs. Listen to the following sentences. He speaks loudly. She walks slowly. She dresses up beautifully. He walks fast. The underlying words are adverbs. Usually, adverbs are formed by adding ly to an adjective. For example, loud, loudly, slow, slowly, beautiful, beautifully. However, some adverbs are exceptions to this rule. We do not add ly to some adjectives to make adverbs. For example, we say, I walk fast. We do not say, I walk fastly. Therefore, fast remains as it is and ly is not added.